Jaguar's E-Pace has been around for a couple of years now and had a minor facelift about a year ago. It's the baby SUV in the Jaguar range, but in the facelift you can see they came up with a nice black grille which has become very modern. You'll also notice forward camera on the grille while we're here. We are in the R Dynamic version, which is spec levels for Jaguar, and of course they have multiple spec levels in this model, which can be a touch confusing at times. Come round over here, good to see LED headlamp technology. So of course you've got great lighting at night, and that's always such an important feature on any vehicle. Come around, typical SUV shape, SUV body. You've got the cladding around the wheel arches, etc., to give you that quasi off-road appeal. 20-inch wheels over here with nice red calipers. Well, again, something you either like or you don't, but that's what you get with it. But big 20-inch, that certainly give you a nice cushioned, soft ride. Come over here and you'll notice it is what I would call a coupe SUV, in the sense that you can see the very, very sharp rake to the roofline coming down into the C-pillar, and in these windows here as well in the C-pillar you can just see that angle, very wide C-pillar. But let's pop open the back door while we're here. Being a coupe-ish SUV does have one area of compromise, and that is, let me jump in quickly and show you a somewhat of a compromise on headroom in the rear. For me to only just have clearance, even with a hat on, means it's not exceptional, but it's not bad either. Certainly for youngsters, for kids, for families, no issue whatsoever. Legroom's pretty good. You can see the driver's seat set for myself, and I've got no complaint there. You've got air conditioning vents in the center over here for rear passengers, and you've got a 12-volt socket over there, very useful. And then a really neat touch over here. On both front seats in the backrest, you've got a USB charging point over there. So definitely for two rear passengers, they are certainly connected and have the ability to connect, because they've got those charging points right there in front of them. And you can imagine two youngsters in the back of this vehicle, both charged up, ready to go. Beautifully finished inside. Of course, you've got leather throughout. You've actually got suede headlighting even, just as a neat touch, and a nice big panoramic roof on this car. And of course, you've got the white counter stitching, whether it's on the seats, on the door handles, door pulls, etc., etc. Very, very neat touches those, and it certainly makes it look very upmarket. Jumping back out, I've shown you the nice wide C-pillar over here, and these tail lights that go right round the corner into the C-pillar, coming all the way around and into the tailgate as well. Pop open the tailgate, which is electronic of course, and you'll see nice flat loading area, nice sized boot, and a space saver emergency spare wheel under the boot board, so you do at least have a spare wheel on this car, and another 12-volt socket in the boot area as well. So it's all features like that that are very useful. Of course, you can lift out the shelf over here if you want to make the load higher, and you can split the rear seat in 3 sections. All nice and useful. Obviously, as you'd expect, you do get ISOFIX in the back as well. Press button to close, and you'll notice as it comes down, we're in the D200, which means a 2-litre diesel engine, what Jaguar call the Ingenium engine range, their own engine range. All-wheel drive, very important. Drives through an 8-speed automatic gearbox that is ultra smooth, I can tell you that much. And that 2-litre diesel engine puts out 147 kilowatts, 430 newton meters of torque. So it's not a racing car, but it's certainly no sluggard when it comes to cruising on the open road, taking a holiday trip, and having plenty in reserve for an overtake when the trucks are in front of you. What better way is there to spend a Sunday than being out in the countryside? You can see we're out in the middle of nowhere, on the open road, cruising along in a classy, upmarket, medium SUV. The Jaguar E-Pace. Well, it's smaller of the Jaguar SUVs, but it's not a small car by any means. If you look, and can we swing the camera around to the back? The rear is, I'll call it a touch compromised. Of course, you've got the coupe-ish rear end, so you've got slightly cut down headroom in the back, and it's not massive legroom. But then again, it depends. Are you looking for a family car or just a cruiser for maybe 2 and 4 on occasion? And this one fits that category absolutely to a T. It is a Jag, there's no doubt about it. It's smooth, it's comfortable. As Jaguar used to use the slogan, grace, space and pace. Well, it's got the grace, doesn't quite have the space, and we are in the baby version, the 2-litre diesel. So pace for a 2-litre diesel, yes, but you do get, of course, the petrol, 3-litre petrols and diesels, etc., if you really want pace out of it as well. But it handles beautifully. It's got every luxury, every comfort. You've got the really nice big 12-inch touchscreen in front of me that has everything you can possibly want on it. Jaguar, established 1935, tells you the legend over there. It is a quality executive vehicle, this one. It feels it, it goes like it, and it just is in every single way. Absolutely butter smooth automatic gearbox. You don't feel a shift. You've got different functions. You've got, of course, your multi-mode transmission if you want to use it. I haven't even touched it so far, quite honestly. It just isn't one of those cars that I feel I really want to race in. This particular one, I feel I want to cruise. And I just want to enjoy my cruise for the day. To me, that's way, way more important. And just way smoother, more comfortable. We're showing 7.9 litres per 100 at the moment. I wouldn't call that exceptional, but it's not bad either. That's an overall figure that has involved a lot of town commuting driving as well. So unfair to say it's just on this run. It definitely is running a lot lower than that on this run today. So again, does it really matter? It's just not that kind of car, and we're not on that kind of road trip today. But it does have a certain cachet, a certain magic to being a Jag, and that's something that really is difficult to captivate, and you either have it or you don't. Jumping in behind the wheel, and let me make one quick correction on a fact I just gave you. The automatic gearbox is the 9-speed, not 8-speed, but it's even smoother and really performs beautifully. So now that that's out the way, let's just have a look over here. We've done 460 kilometers on this test, averaging 7.8 litres per 100. For a luxury, biggish vehicle, big, small vehicle like this, I'm not complaining. You've, of course, got your digital instrumentation. It covers absolutely everything. You can do what you want with it. I'm not going to waste time showing it to you. But more important is, of course, you've got active cruise control over here. And that's important. You can set your distances, your limits, etc. It's got lane departure. It's got all those kind of features and nice substantial paddles behind the wheel if you wish to use them at any time. Again, I find those things quite a waste of time a lot of the time. You've got memory settings for the seats if you want, which of course are electric, all electric adjustment. You'd expect that. And there is the comfort setting on the driver's seat. In other words, it moves back and gives you more room to get in and out when you turn off the car, and that's again a useful feature. You've got this nice big 12-inch touchscreen over here. Easy, works nicely. A couple of nice features I want to mention to you. Just for example, you'll notice Android Auto is set on it for me, and it does have wireless Android Auto first of all, which I find nice. It is a nice touch, and also does have inductive charging down below. So just keep those two in mind. So the Android connect seamlessly without cables, etc., which are such a pain at the best of times when you don't want them, quite honestly. But beyond that, if you have a look, of course, you've got all the different functions you can possibly want on the screen at the touch of a button. Eco data, just for example, and I'm just showing you some examples over there, and that's exactly how it works. It's nice and easy, nice and simple, and works well. Of course, you can scroll through a lot of them on the steering wheel as well if you want to. You come down to, of course, your dual zone climate control and features like that. I've mentioned them too. I mentioned the inductive charging pad over there. You've got, of course, auto stop start. You've got your DSC button if you dare switch it out, which I think you'd be a bit crazy. And you have got your multi-mode transmission over here, where I've just left it in comfort mode for this entire test, quite honestly, but you can click the button and you can move it into various modes as simply as that, and just click through and you'll go through into sport mode, etc., sport racing. And you can see now I'm in dynamic mode on the center instrumentation, just to show you it actually looks quite good. It's got a nice and deep red color on the instrumentation, which means I'm in dynamic mode, and click again and go back. There's comfort, eco, and you also have ADSR, which means if you're going, it's rain, snow, ice, and you can activate low traction control if you particularly want. You can see over there just various options you get that, of course, are suited very much for European driving and not necessarily South African. Mentioned to you, of course, that 7.8 litres per 100 has been achieved leaving the vehicle in just comfort mode, quite honestly. Another interesting little button over here I found is that's a volume control for your sound system and radio. Confused me for a few moments until I worked it out, but it's there. It's nice and easy for driver or passenger to reach, so something that often is an issue on a lot of the test cars I drive. I found that quite nice. Of course, you've also on your screen got your camera system. There you've got your 3D camera, your overhead camera, cameras like that. You can even have a camera for towing. So in other words, it shows you behind if you want to hook up a tow hitch, or when you're wanting to hook up, you can actually reverse towards your trailer or boat or caravan or whatever it is, and there you go, and it just makes life so much easier for you, doesn't it? And then of course you do just have your normal reverse camera as well, just as a basic. Very interesting at the gear lever itself. It's just backwards, forwards, or press the button over here for park. As easy as that. Nice big center armrest over here with, as you see, USBs in there again as well. So you've got lots and lots of connectivity in this car and the facilities. You've got, of course, the beautiful sloping, very interesting treatment of the dash, sort of scrolling down, cascading down towards the passenger in particular. And that is a nice effect. I think it's a very cocooning effect and would make passengers feel very comfortable and pretty safe at the same time. And of course, on the left side of the center console, you've got this big grab handle if maybe your passenger's getting a bit scared or a bit nervous. So overall, well, it is a Jag, there's no doubt. Or as Jeremy Clarkson would have said, a Jag. But it's quality, you can feel its quality. It is a luxury vehicle, and it is a prestige vehicle in every sense of the word. The space in the back could be a touch compromised, but if that is the case, or if you have a problem with that, you have the F-Pace, which is that much bigger. You can just go up to that one if you want. I haven't mentioned prices yet for a reason. With the 2-litre engine, it starts at just on 900,000 Rand. But when you start speccing panoramic roofs, you start speccing extra camera systems, etc., etc., you know what it's like. You can certainly go up quite a lot from that figure. So it is a case of just look carefully, be very careful on how you spec the car, and watch your budget carefully. But I believe compared to the opposition, and you'd be looking at the Mercedes GLC Coupe, you'd be looking at the Audi Q3 to Q5, you'd be looking at the BMW X4, all of those coming to the same category, you certainly can see that pricing is competitive and in the same sort of ballpark. And yet you'd be driving the more exclusive, less common, can I call it, option if you do go with the Jag. It's one of those cars you're either going to love or you're not. It's a difficult one to comment. As I said, the old slogan Jaguar used to use was grace, space and pace. Well, it's got the grace. The space for the driver in the front is perfect, even if not in the back. And with a 2-litre diesel, maybe not all the pace you'd always want, but it's not a sluggard. Nice option, and definitely a left field option. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor. I'll see you next time.